All right, everybody. So now that a couple of months have passed from the adjustments on Vertigo, which mainly introduced this big gaping gap in the wall, which has radically changed gameplay, and also this catwalk. I've kind of been able to form an opinion on it, and I personally think it has indeed been a positive change to the gameplay and also the viewing experience of the map. I think it makes the bomb site a lot more interesting, not only to watch, but also, as I said, to play personally. Perhaps just due to the fact that my own playstyle is maybe suited to it, but also significantly more to watch. So before this wall was sort of cut in this manner, basically the main sort of assault strategy on the A bomb site was to smoke right side. That is if the T side had ramp control. You know, smoke left side with a smoke such as this, and you would be able to sort of come up short like this, lurk up the wall, come up ramp like this, potentially a grenade headshot or something, and, you know, the only real problem you had to watch out for was M4 spray and also the grenades, which was most often dealt with by faking once. The only real plays that the CTs could do if they didn't have ramp control was to try and spam or to push through the smoke, that is. And aside from that, they basically had to resort to playing retake, and that made watching Vertigo in a lot of ways quite boring, frankly speaking, because most of the POVs were just through the smoke, right? Trying to spam here, you know, spamming in one way or another. With this wall now introduced, it has kind of given both sides more possibilities to be able to play. Before this was introduced as well, if the CTs wanted ramp control, they had to really go all in. They had to go in with, you know, flashes such as this, and they had to swing short, and they had to be extremely committed to taking ramp. They basically had to fight for this. And, you know, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's kind of like long on Dust 2. But it meant, due to the fact that it was really either swinging short and fighting completely, or falling back and playing retake, it meant that it was kind of a little bit one-dimensional, right? There wasn't a lot very exciting to watch this sort of part of the map, you know? The Ts could eventually sort of wait out the utility and could even have an op, maybe post up and try and take out the jump spotter, or they could sort of slowly be able to retake this part of the map. And that meant that, in the end, most of the time, the CTs had to fall back, and we're back to the sort of trench warfare style gameplay that we had to watch. Now, with this wall being opened up, I think it makes the possibilities for the CT side a lot more interesting. You can now try and hold short only from a position such as this. You can throw counter utility more easily onto short. You can contest the bomb site from this angle. You know, you can even make sort of theoretically speaking, a play where, you know, the headshot player might flash a player over here in like this, and they could try and take back short control more easily. And this kind of means that you don't have to commit to, you know, stacking grenades here, and, you know, going for the bomb denial or something along those lines. But the T side as well, I think it's a little bit more interesting for the T side as well. It does make it in some ways harder to scale up short, but there's also more possibilities to execute. I mean, before it was basically only this and this, right? But now you have a couple more options. Let me speed up time here so the bomb side is clear. You can now, for example, go for some sort of execute where, you know, smoke maybe lands something like this and lands deep inside elevator like this. This is something that's being kind of experimented with. And alongside a headshot Molotov, you can now sort of assault in a more interesting way by, like, you know, going through something like this, trying to take elevator control. This is not something that the T side really did before. In the same way, you can also leave the lineup just like this. You can also just smoke it off normally like this. And that way, you can try and make a play where you're hiding inside of the smoke now. Or the CTs now have an additional option of trying to flash through. I don't know if it was making sense what I'm saying, but it's basically just a lot more dynamic, right? There's more able to happen, and that makes it more intriguing, I think, both gameplay-wise and viewing experience-wise, right? It's just a lot more sort of occurring on the bomb site in particular. So that's why I'm a fan of this one. Now for the catwalk, I don't really have any strong opinions on it. It's kind of a risky position. Obviously on the CD side, you can hold like this, but bury it in the open, it's hard to fall back. On the T side, I've loved being able to lurk up like this. This is a play that people still don't really expect. Like, oftentimes you'll still just catch off CTs that just run out with the knife here. But viewing experience-wise, I haven't really noticed the difference with it. In fact, I don't really think the Ts very often go up and use this. I think it's because pros kind of realize that it's quite easy to punish someone, maybe even with like a flashbang or something. And punish a player playing on either side of the map. But I think this whole area, I think it just makes it so much more fun. It really does. It really does. Because before it was very static. It was very straightforward gameplay. This just spices everything up, really. And that's generally why, at least I, personally, I'm a fan of this change. Yeah.